Hi, Sarah.
Hi. Hi.
Welcome to Table 58.
Yeah. Welcome to
It's
take.
been Easter and everything.
Uh, yeah, I'm Sarah. This is Marissa, and we're both very, very sober. Incredibly sober, in fact. We both follow a program. You can find details in the description and the about section, but we're not here to talk about that necessarily, or we're not representing um, any body or any institution. We're just here to have a chat. Basically, if you've got any questions or comments you'd like us to discuss, things you'd like us to do, you can put those in the comments, or you can email us at pods@table58.org, and you can find an audio version of this podcast on Telegram on t.me/table58. Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are, whenever you are, however you are, we're very glad that you're here.
Yes, yes, we are. Ta-da.
So,
Hey, everybody knows how much we love Mark Nepple. So how about if we do a little Mark Nepple for a rollout?
like to do today's.
Ooh, today's is great. I thought of you right away when I read it. So then this couldn't be a more appropriate time to just do a little sharing. Okay, are you reading?
You read it this time.
Okay. So today is April 12th, and the title of it is The Need to Speak. And then there's a quote by June Singer, and it is just by speaking, I can break out of my self made prison. Here goes Mark's reflection. So many times we suppose ourselves out of existence, imagining that if we speak our heart, we will be rejected or ignored. I once watched a man reach to call a friend, excited to share a deep idea that had overcome him. But as the phone was ringing, I saw him imagine a cool reception, saw him try on the pain of not being heard, and quickly, with a sigh of deflation, he hung up before the fourth ring. Still, the expression, whether misunderstood, well received, or rejected, matters. For the cost of not making the call is that a piece of us dies. Consider how fish swim and birds fly. They do so because it is in their nature. For it is the swimming and the flying that makes them fish and birds. Likewise, it is the speaking of one's heart that makes a human being human. For even if no one hears us, it is the act of speaking that frees us by letting the spirit swim and fly through the world. And here's the invitation of meditation. Sit quietly and allow yourself to be as still as lake water when there is no wind. Breathe slowly and look into yourself. Look to your bottom. Inhale deeply and feel whatever rises from your bottom. Exhale cleanly, and though you are alone, speak what you are feeling aloud to yourself.
What was that last? What was the very last line?
Exhale clearly, and though you are alone, speak what you are feeling aloud to yourself.
Speak what
Aloud.
you're feeling aloud to yourself.
And out loud, yes.
Yeah, that's a good one. Just practice speaking it out then. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because you had just said to me recently that how did you describe it? Your mouth as a demon and a what? How did?
Yeah. If there's demons like on my body somewhere, mine
Yeah,
would be on my mouth, because that's where I imbibe stuff, where I take in or I took in alcohol and substances and tobacco and things, and that's where it comes out of my mouth. That's where I speak shit. I know I was talking before about not speaking for a long, like a long uh, portion of my life, or being afraid to speak. And we've been talking about speaking and voice and everything, and uh, how to speak in like what contexts and what the rules are. I always want to know what the rules are, and I thought I knew what the rules were. And it turns out that might be something that I have to relook at. what are, what rules are there?
What do you
Because
mean?
we've also been talking a lot about head and heart, living from the heart and living from the head. And yeah, when I lived with the thing that I'd heard was, when I'm too smart, God doesn't come into my heart. And yeah, so being aside from the obvious thing of like just trying not to overthink everything, trying not to be too cerebral about stuff and intellectual and all that, and just be more uh, authentic and let things come, in conversations and things, just let things come out as um, as they arise in me. Then all the more subtle things of certain kind of what are called like core beliefs or core values getting kind of re-looked at as well. Of not speaking about other people to other people and things, like if some then the thing I like about that is if I if I stick to that all the time, this is perfection as well, perfectionism. If I stick to that the whole time, if somebody says to, because I can't remember things, if somebody says to me that years ago I'd said such and such, I know it's not true because that's just not what I do, right?
Mhm.
So I know if as long as I stick to this thing really, really rigidly, I don't. So this is the rule. If somebody talks to me in what we're both considering to be a private conversation, I don't divulge any of that information in any other conversation uh, unless I get the original person's permission to say, can I talk to so and so about that thing that you were talking about, whatever. And if I operate on that, there was an instance where within my family, uh, uh, some my mother got to hear of something very personal that happened to one of us three sisters, and one of my sisters, I have to say, because it's good. And they said, and my mum had said, Sarah told me. I knew that I hadn't told her because that is not my behaviour. And the nature of the thing is definitely something that I would not pass on from one member of my family to another member of family. So for like 3 or 4 months, it was blamed on me, and the original sister was really upset. That why did you tell my mum that and things? And I said, well, I can't remember doing so, but it doesn't sound like something I'd do.
Mhm.
And in a few months later, it actually came out that it wasn't. It was my other sister and she admitted to it, kind of thing. And
Oh, good,
she
good.
that told mum. And so if I keep to that rigid rule, it does. I don't have to defend myself or anything. I can remain silent through it. So I remained silent through that whole thing. Didn't have to justify myself or anything. Felt upset, but kept that to myself. Didn't because the truth is, I can't remember. I can't remember. But if I keep my behaviour consistent in myself, I knew it doesn't sound like what I would do, you know. And that's what I'm kind of afraid of. Is but yeah, like, is that a good discipline? Is that a good bar to have? Is it, or is it a rigidity? Is the underlying root of it? She said being extremely cerebral. Is it just self-protection and selfishness or fear at the root of it? Because it's too complicated for me to deal with this kind of uh, self-justification, which was interesting. That was on one of the. I was just looking up character defaults, and it's on one of there's like a list of 20 to help me out with kind of writing my evening review thing. And I was like, oh, self-justification. Yeah, I recognise that. Like, I don't normally verbalise it, but I do that internally, definitely. It's
So,
like,
like, thank you for unfolding more about your thoughts around this. And then when you hear this reading, so talking about if you are not participating and that is to have a pattern that you've created, then you can't be part of a problem, basically a protectionary measure. So then Mark starts by saying, so many times we suppose ourselves out of existence, imagining that if we speak our heart, we will be rejected or ignored. So he's suggesting that when we don't, what's on our mind, we suppose ourselves out of existence.
yeah,
Then he says, still the expression, whether misunderstood, well received, or rejected, it matters. For the cost of not making the call, then a part of us dies. And then he goes on to be like, okay, it's just like, so anyway, speaking of one's heart that makes a human being, that's what makes the human being human. For even if no one hears us, it is the act of speaking that frees us by letting the spirit swim. Oh boy, backstroke, front stroke, doggy paddle, and fly through the world. So then when you read it, were you thinking on this stuff and then this comes through and then what did you get to
yeah.
thinking?
Then that pings through like this morning because that's April 12th, and okay, Mr. Nepo. But yeah, for me, how I kind of read that is when it says we suppose ourselves out of existence, and at the end, uh, uh, that a piece of us dies. The cost of not making the call is that a piece of us dies. That's not living. That's not living. It's not a life of loving abundance. It's the statue one. It's the separate statue observer, which I'm expert at. I'm brilliant at doing that. But that means that I'm not engaged. I don't engage.
Mhm.
I observe everything. I'm thinking about everything. I'm processing stuff. I'm doing all that. But if I'm not interacting with other people, then I'm not engaging in life. It doesn't have to be lots of people or anything, but um, if I'm then obviously at the extreme, if I'm taking myself off to a monastery or something and I'm committing to a period of time of intense solitude, that's a different thing. But I'm not. I'm in the world. I'm in and I'm in places where I'm interacting with people, and when I sit there being quiet and just watching and listening, and thinking to myself, that is not love in abundance. That's not.
No. Like I'm like, well, I gotta be real fucking honest. And this keeps popping up because the part about the sacredness and the retreat about me, my personal story and getting sober, and really taking the handle on less is more and learning how to be alone, basically, knowing that I'm safe. So having to rebase a lot of neurological system stuff and a lot of just crazy shit in my head that really made no sense. Like I'm gonna be whacked out because I'm everywhere and not know like what to do. Maybe I'll call some crazy person. Maybe I'll go take a walk and go somewhere. Who knows what? Because I can't just be alone. It's nuts. Anyway, uh, I was just thinking about this stuff. And this, okay, the rules and what are the rules, right? And how I'm 4.5 years into working on this spiritual, really like uncover to discover to discard. And I've got to feel real safe in the part that was just for me. And I like it a lot. And so I've been ever so curious about like I'll start to notice people. It's spring where I am now, and people are out in really cute dresses, and I'll see couples going to a play or a dinner. Today I saw mothers and daughters. There must be a show right where I was. I've been walking around downtown, just getting to know the city a little bit more, and I can remember a lifetime when I did these things, like got ready to go out to a show, or like, well, mostly that, or like someone's birthday party that you're getting ready for, you're excited, maybe we're helping during the day, and then that isn't anything like anything that I do has to do with getting out of my house has to do with like going to work, running errands, or like a family holiday related event, really. Like I'm to the point where I need to like actually do the effort to start to build what my life will look like here, that's not just coming home after work and working out somewhere or something or whatever I decide to do. Who knows? So anyway, I'm in the point of creating the schedule, but when you talk about this point about what the rules are, that rigidity became something that like the rigidity I could really relate to because I'm like, this feels great. I know exactly what to do. I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm learning if I just really do keep my mouth shut, this goes really, really well, actually. But then I'm like recognizing as the days kept stacking that, well, it was really neat actually, like opportunities to use my voice in really difficult circumstances, like when somebody says something in front of you that's really, and to other people, and it's really not a nice thing to say, and it's important to say something, things like that started to happen more and more. And it was interesting how it just kind of went okay, and then suddenly I end up in a job where that's exactly what I do, on a daily basis, basically. Restorative conversations, restorative healing relationships, self. Anyway, so the rules, I mean, it reminds me because I don't want to fuck it up. The perfectionism, like you say, and it reminds me of do you play cards ever? Or
Yeah.
even if we were playing a dice game, you know this with different families, even though it's the same dice or card game, like spades or whatever it is, there are different versions that every person plays. And if you don't ask the rules, I learned this the hard way because I love to play. So, man, I was eager as hell to be sitting at the table. But I had to learn the hard way to ask the questions, what are your rules? Because the people will use that actually, even too, because game's a game. If you didn't ask the rules, then you didn't know. And suddenly, like, I wouldn't know that the Queen of Spades is actually a 40 card point in this hand, not the regular 10. And then they're like, sorry. And so, anyway, it's kind of been used in ways too that can be trickery, like not kind of set you up to not have an opportunity to they're binding in ways that restrict evolution of thought and growth. And we just don't revisit them and we keep working out of that same structure thinking that it works. And I just find that, if we're laying this into speaking, sharing our spirit as a form of our spirit coming alive, So as I've waited and let these opportunities unfold where I've been able to, like, I'm going to be speaking at the four different graduation, not speaking, but have a part behind a mic, having a public role there, using the microphone, and it doesn't startle me. And I've dreamed of days of that. But I mean, you kind of have to start practicing the shakes itself. Like my sponsor just called it. It's like she goes, "Oh, Marissa, you're doing the stepping out of the cage part." I'm like, "Whoa, I kind of like the cage." I'm like, cage first, like what cage? And then I started just sort of thinking about those things. But anyway, speaking of thinking about all these things, Mark Nepple always gets us into doing that, of course. I just heard a thing that got my brain whizzing away. I just told you, but I don't know why. I don't even, I'm just gonna, I was coming across that collapse does not mean conclusion. And I think also like speak out loud, speaking out loud to myself is coming more and more around as like this reminder to just I've been doing a lot in my head, and I think the vibration of our voices is really important, especially when we are in a mindset that's positive and we're actively, deliberately contributing to community by speaking words of loving kindness and gentleness and love as an action, and as a, what's my word? Responsibility, but also like that, oh, high standards, definitely. A high standard action. Love for sure. I mean, and I don't know. So anyway, when I hear this collapse is not my conclusion, what I've been thinking so much about is I'm just going off on a thing right now, but I've been hearing this come up, the way we use words and words matter. And I know this, but I was having a conversation earlier in the day today about using the word friend and how it's used and in what circumstances it's used and how it can really be misleading as well and what a friend really is. And I am, when it comes to labels for me and my personal living and experience, I prefer to kind of stay away from them. I find that they can be inhibiting and constrictive to my mind's willingness to kind of think beyond what I was maybe what I'm told who I am. And I actually watch it in a lot of people that like really I think struggle because they're like, I have this, I know I have it. Now give me the pill to make it better, rather than this incorporation much earlier on of just minimally. Also, if this piece has to happen of taking a walk and it doesn't have to be a big one. It doesn't matter that it's just around the block. It really doesn't. Because I'll tell you, I promise you, if you did that every day, you're going to start walking 2 blocks one day. You will. You just will. And it doesn't matter if it takes 7 months, if you really just stay to the discipline and you won't even know it happened. And that's the cool thing about like, so collapse does not mean conclusion. I think when I read it or when I heard the words, the brevity, but the profoundness of it, as I find myself, I feel like I'm in like initiation phase after initiation phase after initiation phase. I'm just like, whoa, whoa. You saw the domino thing I said, and just, but this, this constant process of the recognition that this is me learning how to come emotionally rooted and grounded, come with spiritual, you know, a commitment to a spiritual practice while also really learning how to live like the big book tells us on page 130. My good lordy, I really like this. I love it. I really just do. It says, he, capital He, would like us to keep our heads in the clouds with him, but that our feet ought to be firmly placed on earth, planted on earth, grounded. And that is why that's where our fellow travelers are. And that is where our work must be done. These are the realities for us. Big words, realities. We have found nothing incompatible. I mean, whoa, talk about an absolute. And between this, a powerful spiritual experience and what? A life of sane and happy usefulness. Which is, when I'm useful, man, don't I feel fed for sure. And the drink was just a way before that. I was like, I don't even know. There's no use for me even, like anyway, I just think this piece of learning collapse does not mean conclusion. When I started working on my mind and the roommate in my head, as Michael Singer talks about in his book, The Untethered Soul, I can start to have this whole different, listen, this shit isn't easy. But it's the way I look at things and why I have a friend like you in this and why I have a sponsor who helps me just shift my mindset a little bit to a different kind of truth. And the more accurate truth, which is collapse does not mean conclusion. When someone dies, I'm just saying how often I'll watch people crumble and just not be able to find a way to learn how to live. And it's devastating to watch because, I mean, for a million reasons. And it just brings me back to this thought of ritual. And I was at a interfaith dialogue last week, and it was on Christian nationalism. And we were talking specifically about, well, I wasn't the panel, but one of the panelists was talking about the trouble that we have with this bipolar approach, not bipolar. What is it? By a
Bilateral.
dualistic. Yeah, right and wrong. That thing. Bipolar? No.
Polar.
Maybe I'm saying it right. I can know there's people. I bet you Patty knows it. She's saying it right now. Anyway, but these opposing thoughts had, yes, no, right, wrong, and that just really isn't the gig. And if we were, people have been saying this for a while, but to just, you talked about this. If we were, this is one of the ways she asked us to practice. Really think about what you're saying about other people when your door is shut in your own home. That matters. That shouldn't be any different than what you would say, as you know well, Sarah, and speak well too, that you wouldn't tell anybody else or practice yourself. So do I. This is something that's two of us share. But it's really then, I'm all over the place in this conversation, so you're going to have to come in and tie it up with a bow somehow for me. But if I were to rearrange collapse is not conclusion and tie up in this part of my bow, why I think it really, I just started crying. I don't know what to say. Sitting there crying. And I think I just finally I'm like realizing what it means, like realizing the profound nature of when I am in the stir and I stay grounded and faithful to my objective, should you take your mission, accept your mission, which is start my day with prayer before I be praying, do a meeting if I can, a gratitude list, go to work, follow through with my daily obligations. In the evening, do my routine. That's all. Show up. That's all I have to do. And then when I stay in those things, it's like the the if I can fortify myself with a mindset like this, that what's happening right now is I'm having a clear out so that the new storyline in my life can start. And that's how I see spirit working for me in my life when I start. And now that I'm 4.5 years in this, like I've had 3 big of these, some people call these tower moments. It feels like it actually, like they're just falling all over around you. So I can understand that. But anyway, and this piece about speaking out loud. Like I could just keep getting the message, like, because I have been quieter, but I know how important it is. And even to my cats, like our animals, you do it. I've been doing it, not so much, but anyway. I don't know. That's what on my mind.
So the collapse is not conclusion. Is starting like in the context of is that like a what's its one? Eternity is a continuation of now.
I feel like
It's
like
it does it mean that something absolutely falling apart is not the end of the story? Is that what it means?
yeah. It's just the beginning.
Yeah.
it's the kickoff to what's to come. Now, get with your community. Because the other thing in this interfaith dialogue on Christian nationalism one of the things that was shared uh, by the panelists was that in all of our different religions, ritual is a part of it in some type of way. Just and how far we've gotten from that and how important it is because that is one of the most anchoring parts of faith. And when we can do that and see that we have that in common, this by you're right, I'm wrong. She's like, people sit around and this skepticism that we all have. Listen, you and I just ran head to head into some skepticism, like, and I also could understand why well, anyone that I've dated really have been like, what do you think? You're a fucking detective or what? And I'm like, what do you mean? Why are you saying that? And they're like, I mean, and when more than one person tells you that, it's not because I went through your phone. It's just because I remember a lot of stuff, and then all the stuff starts to come in, and you think you know the angle, and then you start going, and then you start going on down one of them. And I mean, that's the part too about coming out of the cage, though, and that what you are referring to as well, I do believe a bit. Like once I do step out of the cage and choose in whatever space to use my voice, now I need to be really comfortable knowing that I know who I am, that I've invited God first. I came to the table. I've been practicing. I that was influenced by spirit. That's it. Leave it alone. That's practicing lowering the bar on perfectionism. Do not inspect it. What was said was what needed to be
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
That's it.
That's so, like that's the thing that our guy, Mr. Fish, said after I'd been in that situation where I had to kind of take care of this meeting of how many people with no experience, no nothing, and it just and kind of did it, and afterwards was just utterly devastated. And he said, "Right, don't look back." That he said that to it just when he did, can you remember he left me a message, and he just said, "Right, that I just something about how wonderful it was." He said, "I know that you were scared. I know that you don't look back on this, don't analyze it, don't think back over how you handled it, anything." He said, "Just let it go."
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, like, right. That's the difference because
Right.
doing anything wrong. I was doing something right, but it was in, I was in complete fear mode. But when I've done something wrong, so, if I've said something, I mean, I've said things to my friends and, uh, well, I'm just being cheeky, but I've been too cheeky, and it's been hurtful or whatever. And, and I will say I'm sorry straight. If somebody says that upset me, that did, and I'll kind of go, yeah, I'm sorry, but obviously that wasn't my intention, kind of thing. But then afterwards, I kind of think, oh, yeah, really, what did I mean? This is what we taught to do, though. This is what the review's about. It's like, oh. What did I do wrong? Right. Uh, to avoid that thing the next time round, and not to, and it really all that I needed to do was to say sorry then, and then that's it. I can just leave it, but not temper behaviour so much.
It's a fish practicing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's it's
I
complicated.
keep hearing you say it's an experiential learning program.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's a hard thing. It's going to take quite a bit of practice. This is self-fulfilling prophecy to do a heart, to live from the heart. Because upsetting people isn't that bad a thing, really. It's not that terrible. And if you
Mm.
did, like, because I'd always like to think to extremes because it does help me sort stuff out. So the extreme of not upsetting anybody is that situation in that, I mean, this is like, oh, I can get political because we're not in a meeting. In the Senate or whatever, where somebody asked what a woman was, right? So what is a woman? And nobody could answer because everybody is so scared of upsetting somebody. It's not just because they want to
Yeah.
be politically correct. It's because they don't want to upset that person or that person up there. So nobody knows the correct answer anymore to like this really fucking easy question, really. You know, it's not a hard question. So that that's where we get to with my thinking is like or am I doing God's will or is this my will? And how do I know the difference? Right. So the extreme of that is I stay in bed depressed, I don't move, I don't do nothing, I don't speak to anybody, I have no interactions whatsoever. Then it can't be my will. But I'm not, there's no way that I can be doing God's will because I'm just being a statue like Mark Nepo's statue. You know, that isn't engaging in life. God, it takes a bit of courage, doesn't it, to just heart
Yeah.
stuff.
But you are ready because the last time you were in this was kind of around the times when you started going on the roofs.
Yeah,
So that's been a little bit of time now, and I do believe, yeah, I wonder what this is it, like
yeah,
something. Just pushing it teensy, one thing that's using your voice, really. I mean, it's kind of plenty, really. It
yeah,
is a lot.
yeah,
When I was going specifically through, I do regularly, but at certain times I'll be working on particular things, and using my voice has been one particular one. And that was when I was living in Nebraska still. And I went to my direct report and I said to her, I just wanted to let you know that I am trying a thing called using my voice. And it doesn't always go very well and it's pretty clunky sometimes. But if I don't start trying to get the opportunity to practice saying things in meetings and having a chance to express what's on my mind in relation to stuff, I am just working on it now, just so you know. Next thing you know, she's got a meeting scheduled with me, her, and the registrar, who the registrar and I were having interpersonal challenges. And I don't really have a hard time getting along with people. And I also am uh, the kind of employee that I'm a good employee. So this was unbeknownst to me personal, but she really wasn't being nice. And also the person that I reported to had even said to me, I've been in enough meetings. She's like, you're being bullied here, Marissa. I said, not really. She's like, yeah, you really are. And I know that you were going to say that. So I just want to let you know that I'm having a conversation with the provost, and if you do decide to leave ever at some point, great, but it won't be because of this. And I was like, oh, okay. Thank, let me know what to do. Like I didn't know. I'm like, okay, well, anyway, now I'm sitting after this in this meeting, and I did get to use my voice. And the registrar says to me, she wanted me to be able to find a student who, okay, so my responsibility is not to put the new students into the system. I'm an advisor. I get them after they're already into the program and have been through orientation. I get them then. And so the remark was that I wasn't aware that a student wasn't in a program and didn't alert them, and I need to use my critical thinking skills more. And I said to her, well, thank you for bringing my attention to that. I said, the thing here, though, that I said, I'm pretty sure getting the students in the system would be the registrar function. So I may need some clarification on that. And I said, and also, in order for me to use my critical thinking skills, I would need to have access to all of the information necessary to do that. So I think that we ran into some troubles because of those two things. And I'm like, And so that was a huge, and we kind of wrapped up. There wasn't much more to say about it because what are you trying to tell me? That's not going to work one more time. And that's why Wendy, she'd been seeing, well, whatever, but she'd been seeing enough of these circumstances go on that uh, I got to actually see it right in front of her too then, which was great. And was protected. So afterwards, my heart was beating so fast. But once I got through a couple of those, suddenly I'm like, wait, just like I've known, we all belong at the table just like everybody else. And this is my big thing right now. We're having some good breakthrough where we're coming along where I work. And we're doing hard things and it has been exasperating at times, but I'm seeing a lot of good things happen and it's kind of exciting. I just think there's so much people get confused by titles or labels, like I said, and get confused by their labels, and other people get confused by the label and think you're so much more important, or I'm scary because I'm a dean of students. That's who goes to the dean of students, the kids that are in trouble, and that's not the message. It's I really love it because you're seen. Somebody said, listen, we noticed Sarah has been coming to even that has been coming to class, not very often. And even when she does, she hasn't been showering things. And I just want to make sure that somebody knows that she's okay. Like even that, I think is just a nice thing. And then I just get to do a nice check-in, like just want to say hi. So then those people start to get connected, the people, the students, the other um but I find that if we can all just remember that the exact role that we've been selected for is all we're responsible to do. And if I do that, just those things very well, then everything kind of just really flows. But when I start to act like, well, because I am this or that, and also, like I said, then create this environment. So the big part of our work that we're working on is eliminating this fear-based environment. Even in all of my emails, I say, you are not in any trouble at all. And I've had to learn along the progression, seeing, how students were kind of approaching me, getting their feedback too and things. But I just think learning how to get back to community is such an important thing. And I don't know how or why or what, but that nobody's in a competition here, not anybody. Just show up, hang out. I'd love to hear all about what you do. It has nothing to do with good, bad, or you're more important in this community. You live on this road, whatever. That's just, I don't care. It's not helpful. And so I'm like, if we can all kind of start to see just that everybody's just as valued. I'm hopeful. It looks like we're able to start kind of looking a little bit like, because I had a longer conversation with one of the people in leadership that you and I have been talking about, and it went really well on Friday night in person at this international dinner that went from 6 to 9. And it was brief, but really great. So, it just there's just a lot to be said for having some time to just 5 minutes, even just in that. But anyway, I think it helped us both sort of be like, nobody's here to compete. We're just here to help each other. And your pain is my pain, and then let's just keep rolling. It's not even mine, but I'm just saying we really do it together. And let's get rolling. So
Yeah, I was having a chat with Maggie earlier on, and trying to describe the kind of magic that can come out of a meeting, and really all it is that we're agreeing that we're kind of ring fencing this hour, or this 90 minutes. There's a little formula, but basically things can be very different in different meetings and stuff. But the basis of it is you just allowing people to talk. That's it. Just setting this scene in a there's obviously there's more to it. There isn't just that, But just having that thing in place, is the kind of incredible stuff that can happen out of those things by just having this simple uh, and I was thinking about that the other day as well, in my head, in my brain. I was thinking about burgers, thinking about McDonald's, and the business genius of McDonald's. And I know there's like a whole backstory. It wasn't McDonald's and everything, but the idea of this thing being saleable because because the customer knew every single time what they were expected, what they would get. So if they went to a McDonald's in that state and they went to a McDonald's in that state, they would still get the same thing. They get this replicated, and the founders of the Big Book, our kind of program and that. Um, I heard the other day that Dr. Bob used to sit outside the meetings and wouldn't let people in if he used to vet them. Have you heard that? They used to vet them to see
Oh,
alcoholics or not, and if he decided they weren't, he wouldn't let them in.
that's funny.
Which I thought brilliant. But and he said, obviously, we learned. We've learned since then. But just having the access to something that you kind of know what's going to happen, wherever you are in whatever context, is absolutely amazing. And just putting that simple thing in place that the that people can have a voice, and that's all it is. It's not somewhere where you sit around discussing ideas and necessarily, sometimes you do, but bouncing ideas off of people or anything. It's just where you say, right, you can, yeah, do you want to say something? Because you can. Right, do you want to say something? You can too. And it's like
Yeah.
incredible being able to have that without having to have the status. We were talking about uh, just before we started recording, earlier life experience in church, and because we both kind of grew up in the church or in a church community, and yeah, that even as a child I recognised the status battles, that were uh, even when, I mean, this isn't a church story, but one of the funniest things I've ever witnessed was was I might have told you about it before, but it was three actually, uh, Buddhists being fucked off at each other. They couldn't say, um, don't you come into my house and tell me what to do. They couldn't say that because they were Buddhist, right? So it was all had to be done in a very Buddhist way.
Oh, that had to be hysterical.
Yeah, it was absolutely hilarious. I literally had to leave the house because I and burst out laughing because it was it was brilliant, and it was a long time ago, but yeah, it was kind of. I thought it might be nice if we had a if we had some tea before we did our sitting, and the older lady is going, so I thought it would be nice if we just sit and just let's just centre ourselves and it just carried on like this, kind of escalating, but in a Buddhist way, you know, because they were both high status Buddhists, and could not be, could not be seen to say. And you could see that what she was saying was, "Well, you go and put the kettle on because I'm gagging for a cup of tea." And the other one was saying, "No,
Yeah.
don't tell me.
Yeah, you did tell me this.
You go and make it yourself. You know where kettle is." But they couldn't do. They couldn't say that. And I've seen that. I saw that in the church as a kid. So it wasn't all like that, but seeing the the outranking of each other with actual titles as well, actual kind of positions in the church, but who was the most spiritual, who was the deepest, to to the extent that you know we had a lady collapse in the congregation once, and it was a really hot day, and she was quite a big lady, and she had a heavy coat on and a hat and everything. She was kind of, and it was getting hot, and the room wasn't all that. The church was, it was like a chapel, and it was just getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And it was really obvious that she fainted in the middle of it. We stood up to sing a hymn or something, and she passed out. She needed clothing loosening and stuff, and some air, and it was kind of um, fighting over whether it was a miracle or not, and it just was a bizarre situation. But yeah, being able to kind of like being able to say uh, we're not saints. Everybody is equal here, which is how it is supposed to be in church. We've all sinned, we've all fallen short, and everything. Uh, um, when you sat in a room full of alcoholics, or you're with alcoholics, there isn't. There can be kind of some of that, but it's not. There's something humbling enough about about this thing of being an alcoholic. I suppose that it might be just me it because I'm only kind of so many months in, and that it might grow. It might grow when you kind of, yeah,
It will grow for sure. You'll love it.
when you can kind of
I
say
can tell it to you.
25 years or something. Yeah.
More will be revealed. What are you having? I got some Easter candy that's old, and my last day of having this for a couple of days when I do my little 30-day challenge.
So have you got to eat all your Easter candy now then, like today?
I didn't get any, but I did just go, yeah, I just decided to go for it today. I'm like, this is fantastic. And they're sour and they're really good at the Candyland in downtown St. Paul. You got to check it out. It's like been there forever.
I've discovered, I should have brought them to show you on camera. I've discovered these things. I'm not really a sweet tooth person, but I've discovered these like waffly things.
What is
They've
it?
got a name, I can't
A
remember what they.
waffle?
They're like a thick cookie thing, but it's not really cookie. It's like like your waffles. Like
Is it crunchy or soft?
it's soft, but it's got crunchy sugar all over it.
Oh my God, it sounds so good. What is this? Oh, French toast. Look
There's,
at your face. Oh my God. Yeah.
I'll send you a photograph.
Okay, would you? Yeah.
And it's they're absolutely awesome. I really like them, but they're massive. They're big. So I just have like a quarter of one, and then I might have another quarter of one if I'm really going for it at the minute. But you can get them kind of half dipped in chocolate as well, and when you eat them, you can crunch the sugar and everything. They're just I'm developing a pash for.
What is it? It's got a bread, like a bread underneath it.
Yeah, I want to go and get one. I can't leave the recording.
Is it hot, cold, in a plastic bag? What?
It's cold, but I think you could have them warm. I'll show you.
Okay, okay. Well, you'll have to put
But
it
the
in the
coffee,
chat or something.
and I think that Helen and Peter came round the other day for a coffee, and then they do like sweet stuff. And I said, "Oh, I know what I've got that are really nice. Do you want one of these?"
Oh,
I took the lid off the tin, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, these are our favourite. These are our so I know other people like them, but there's most of the things are really expensive. Like most of the bakery ones and everything are dead expensive.
yeah, I
But
know.
there's a brand of them that aren't that expensive. Yeah. So that's yeah. I'm getting a a thing for them. They're only about €5, so it can be my treat when I go shopping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think you get 9 in a pack, and that lasts me about 2 weeks at the moment.
I
Yeah,
was gonna say, I
yeah.
don't know.
It could seriously increase. Yeah, getting the
How
sugar.
come?
What time are we on?
Why will this increase?
Well, because I'll build up a tolerance to. I'll build a tolerance, won't I? At the minute, it's in like a quarter of one's enough. It's like they're really sweet. But if I
Okay.
keep on at it,
Yeah.
enough.
It's funny. I
Up to,
wonder if we have something like it here. I'm gonna look.
I can't remember what they do. Do you want me to go and get them?
Yeah.
I'll show
I
you.
want to see it
It's
really
got
quick. Yeah, 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 yeah. What are you doing? That's my kitty. Hi, everybody. Well, Sarah's gone. She's so chill. This is Night. Night was delivered to me. He has a brother, Magic. Everybody is meeting Night. Let's see.
So, they are. Oh, they smell.
Oh,
The
those are so okay. Wow. I don't know. I know where to go, then I'm gonna see if I can find that.
I
That's a waffle. Take a bite. Don't do it. Do
just the
it.
smell of them is like they smell like donuts.
Okay. Oh, they're soft. They are soft.
Yeah,
What does the bag look like? Bag. Did you hear me say bag? Look what I got.
they haven't got a name, but the type of the thing. But I always take the wrapper off and throw it away straight away.
Okay. I got a caramel.
No,
I took half of a bite. Okay. Then I'm bring this to work. This is their signature popcorn. That's what they do, but dark chocolate drizzle caramel corn.
is that chocolate then that I can see like the dark?
Yeah.
Whoa!
Mhm.
Oh, is that the sour thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so good.
I do like sour things. Yeah,
Me too. All right. Are we is it time for our fingers?
yeah, I think we ought to.
Look at these ones are really good. It's a carrot.
A carrot. Carrot.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Um, mm,
Mm.
hold on. Okay, bye. Bye.